All right, we're live. Hey, everybody. Good morning. I hope you're doing well. Let me know in the comments and let me know who's joining me. Just say hi, say good morning, whatever, if it's morning or good afternoon. Um, and if you're catching the replay, let me know that. But I'm excited today because joining me is Kim Kendall de Silva. Did I get that right, Kim?
Well, De Silva, because this one is
De
actually
Silva.
Portuguese, not Spanish. But yeah,
Kim
that's
Kendall
fine.
de Silva. I just call her Kim.
Exactly, that's fine.
Every time we talk, I just call her Kim. Um, but she's joining us today to talk about the impact of health on our relationships. And also, it goes both ways. Like our relationships can impact our health as well.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm really excited because she has some great insight and she knows her stuff. So, um, she's a relationship mentor and helps couples reconnect and
Mhm.
prioritize their marriage again. Is that basically what you do?
I do. Yes. I work mostly with moms. Well, with the female half of the relationship, I should say.
Mhm. Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do, and maybe even like how you came to do what you do.
Mhm. Sure. So I actually started doing the relationship mentoring after I was in my business for language acquisition and Latin American cultural awareness. Because what I noticed was happening was that a lot of the clients I was getting in that business were women who wanted to learn Spanish because they wanted to connect more deeply with their partners. I mean, they were doing the language because they wanted to speak to their extended families and, pass on the language to their children. But at the bottom of it all was this desire to really kind of cement their place with their partners. And we would go through the sessions, and very often what was coming up was people were talking about, oh, these are language and culture barriers that they were experiencing. But it really wasn't. It was regular old male female relationship issues that were just being exacerbated by the language and culture. And we would do a lot of work on those issues as well, because I had a lot of I say I have a lot of real life experience. My husband and I, this year, actually this month, it's been 23 years since we met and essentially got together. Yes. And this year will be 14 years that we've been married. And it's been a long time. Most of our friends don't know us individually. They do know us as a couple. And so we've always been that couple that people come and ask their questions, well, what are you doing? How do you manage this? What's going on? Do you have any suggestions? And, that was something that we've done just just by being present and around. So, and I saw it happening in my work. And eventually I was like, no, this is really important to me, because one of the things that has been sitting on my heart a long time now is the importance of family. And I mean, we have three sons, and I guess part of that too is that idea that, we complain so often about where are the good men, and I'm like, well, I have three sons. I want to make sure that I'm raising three young men who can go out and be productive members of society. And
Yeah.
part of that is giving them this stable home in which to grow up. And so then this idea of, helping other people to really build their homes, their family life, that's where a lot of this impetus to work on or help people or mentor people in their relationships came from.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. I just love how you came to that, and I love your thinking on that and stuff. And that's, that's a testament to your marriage and your relationship that people were coming to you for advice and
Mhm.
they could see that you had a healthy relationship, a healthy marriage. So that's awesome.
I mean, it's not perfect, don't get me wrong.
Oh, no, no one's perfect. No one's perfect. They wanted what you wanted, that what you
Well,
guys had,
true, there's that part.
So, yeah, that's great. So, Do you want to talk to us a little bit about what you do now, like how you coach people or how you
Mhm.
mentor people?
Sure. So I would say my clients are a mix of moms or even people who aren't moms yet, but they are. I mean, one of my favorite clients, she's not even, she and her partner aren't even married yet, but they've been together for a while and they've been going through some difficult times, and she's just kind of getting all her tools then to really start a marriage in a good place. So I do work with my clients. What we focus on a lot is what's going on with you. So, for example, um, and you'll hear me say this a lot. This is the one time where it's okay to say me first. Actually, this is the time when you should say me first, because it's what can I do? What can I change? How can I act? Because a lot of times we're like, well, I don't want to be a certain way, or I don't want to extend kindness. I don't want to say thank you. I don't want to be generous because my partner isn't. But the thing is, though, if you are the person who is sitting there kind of checklisting all of the things that aren't going right in your relationship, and thinking about all the things your partner can do better or should do better, well, then maybe it's time to look at, well, what can you do?
Mm, yeah.
Start the improvements, and that's where we really start. It's in looking at what are the things that, when people say they want a stronger relationship, or they want a better connection, or they want more quality time, well, we start by defining those things. Because
Mm,
it's all well and good to say those are things you want. Those words sound nice, but they mean something different for everybody. They mean something different for you, even for your partner. So
yeah.
it's time to start defining it. So we work on that at the very beginning, defining what it is that you want in your relationship, and then, okay, how can I get it? And
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah. And I think you taking responsibility, like personal responsibility, and taking the first step, taking the action, kind of will start to rub off on them, on your
exa-
partner, right? It's just like
exactly.
I think about it, with health, when I started to get healthy, so did my family, because it
Hmm.
just kinda rubbed off on them. So it's the same
Hmm.
with, if you're showing them kindness and showing them what you want and what you value in the relationship, that's gonna
Hmm.
rub off on them eventually, and they'll
Exactly.
start doing those things too.
Exactly,
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's what I always say. It is a two-way street.
yeah.
We want and we deserve respect and kindness and courtesy and reliability, but we have to be willing to give those things as well.
Oh,
So
exactly, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Awesome. Well, okay, so my first question is, does physical health matter in a marriage or relationship? Like, what is your take on that?
I think it does. Even if for no other reason, when you have an improved physical health, you have more energy and you think clearer,
Mm,
and you sleep better, you know and those are important things for a relationship. That heightened energy allows you to do more things with your family, to do more things with your partner. The mental clarity allows you to assess your problems, pick your battles. Very
mm,
importantly, I did read about a study, Jennifer. I now that we're having this conversation, I have to go find the link. There was this study that was done, and essentially it was showing you that when your blood sugar is lowest, so like when, like maybe before lunch or before dinner, like when you're getting hungry, that
yeah.
your irritability levels are much higher.
Oh, wow. I need
So
to read that study. That's
I
interesting.
know. And so they put these couples in this study, and they purposely like kind of had some couples, I guess not starve them, but they made them hungry.
Yeah.
And the level of aggression that they would show each other was much higher
Mm,
with that. So I know that sounds a bit extreme, and I mean they didn't actually starve people, and they didn't allow
right.
them to be too aggressive with each other. I think they had like dolls, and they had to poke pins in the dolls to express their frustration with their partners. So the ones who were hungrier were more aggressive with the dolls that was representing their partners.
Oh my goodness.
But
Wow.
I mean, if there's ever any proof that how your health can impact, or how you your diet and your and just your how it affects how you think and how you feel, which will have a direct impact on your relationship. So yes, I do think it does. um and I mean, I guess we'll come to these things as we talk some more as well, but even in terms of like, when we don't feel confident in our health or confident in our bodies, or not even, we may not even reach the stage of confidence, but we just feel very negative about it,
Mm.
we're much more closed off to compliments.
Mhm. Oh,
And
yes. Yeah.
exactly. And our partners are giving us the gift of a compliment, and we just can't receive it. And what
Mhm.
happens if you keep giving someone's gift back? I mean, at some point, they're going to stop giving you the
They're just
gift.
gonna stop doing it because, it's not worth it. Like, you're not receiving it, so why keep giving it?
Exactly. And I had a partner, I had a client who was going through exactly this. She did not feel comfortable in her body anymore, and she said, but my husband, he's always telling me he's beautiful, and I just brush him off. I'm like, well, you know he he's seeing you in a very different way than you're seeing yourself. And
Mm.
you need to start receiving those compliments, because how are you going to feel if he stops giving them to you?
Yeah.
That's another rabbit hole altogether, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And that just, that makes me think, like, we're moms, we've had children, our bodies are not the same as when we got married, right? And it is hard. It's very difficult to, when you see stretch marks
Mhm.
or whatever, weight
Mhm.
gain or whatever it is, it's hard. It's hard to accept that.
It is.
But, if your partner still loves you and is giving you compliments, even if you don't believe it, I think you should still receive it because that's going to do something for him and for you.
Mhm.
It's going to, even if you don't believe it at the moment, it's still going to help your confidence. It's still going to help you
And
feel
there's a way
good
to,
and your
yes, and
mindset.
there's a way to take that. You say, well, thank you very much for telling me that. I know I don't feel it at the moment, but I appreciate you telling me that. You
Yeah.
know? And you can be honest about it. You can be honest that you don't feel that way, but that you do appreciate them making the effort.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to lie to them, just be
No,
honest. I really appreciate that. I don't feel that way, but I appreciate it, and that makes them feel better.
it
Let's
does.
see what I've gotta read some of these comments. Good morning, y'all. Quality time, yeah. What does this say? The gift of compliments and not accepting it from partner. I was that way. Much better now with my health and now with accepting compliments from others. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Okay, so what impact does a healthy marriage have on a person's like physical and mental health? What would you say?
It Well, it depends, because some people. I'm sure you've seen the gentlemen who pat their round tummies, and they say, well, they what is, I forget, but you know what I mean. And it's this idea that their wife cooks really well and she makes them really happy, so that's why the belly is there. But that's
Yeah.
besides the point. And in my family, it'll be completely opposite, because my husband actually does most of the cooking for us, 'cause he's so fast at it. But but no, again, it does have an impact on our health, because what happens when we worry about things? They eat at us. And
Mhm.
it can, again, are you waking up every 3 a.m.? What are the thoughts racing through your mind? Are you that sleep is so, so important. And if you are feeling stressed in your relationship, it is having a direct impact on the things that you are doing, how you're feeling, how you're sleeping. um I know I've started recently. I don't know, Jennifer, you will know more about this. Some of the studies are talking about, the types of emotional strain and how we hold on to certain um, traumas or hold on to certain feelings that actually
Yeah.
impact how easy it is for us to lose weight, you
Oh,
know.
yeah. Trauma,
So,
stress, that
mhm,
impacts weight. It impacts you being able to lose weight, and it impacts our hormones as well. So
right,
hormonal imbalances, and then that can throw so many things in our body off, from
right.
our mind,
Mhm,
the thing,
mhm.
our mindset, and our physical body, our physical health. So yeah, definitely.
Exactly. Exactly. So no, it does have an impact. If we're not, if our relationship is causing that stress or causing trauma, then it is going to impact our health directly. Even as simple as, do you have the mental capacity to plan your meals better, to make healthy choices? Because when your brain is so busy trying to, sift through 100 problems,
Mhm.
what's the easiest thing to grab in the kitchen?
Yeah,
You
yeah, comfort food, junk food. Yeah,
Exactly. And
yeah.
who has time to exercise when, everything takes longer because you're not focusing properly on it. So you run out of time and you don't have time to exercise. It all has a knock-on effect. Not even necessarily knock-on effect, it's all a cycle. It's all part of a cycle.
Yeah, definitely, and if you're having issues in your marriage, the last thing you wanna think about is,
Mm-hmm.
eating healthy and exercising and taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're more focused on that marriage, I'm sure, and so
Exactly.
that can take a toll.
It
Yeah.
can. It really can.
Um, so how have you seen health impact marriages in your clients? Like, have you witnessed different things with different clients? Tell us, like, what your experience is.
I have one in particular. Now it's interesting because she is part of the work that she does is around nutrition. So it was very interesting because one of the things that was coming up between her and her partner was, because she was paying so much attention to nutrition, but then she found that her partner wasn't paying enough attention to his health. And but what she kind of stopped doing was the nagging. She stopped trying to say, well, you have to do this, you have to do that. She just led by example,
Mm.
did the things that she knew she needed to do to be healthy, and eventually, it doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
Eventually, he kind of caught on and he realized, well, when he also got the proper amount of sleep, when he ate better, when he drank less, the quality of their time together was different and better. And so again, that fed into that. Um, I know, I always say, one of the things, my husband has always been like, oh, he wants to start exercising. He wants to start exercising. And eventually one morning I got up and I'm like, well, I'm starting. And I just went and I just did it every day, day after day, day after day, day after day. And eventually he started too, but again, it was not overnight.
Right.
And again, that kind of leading by example and then helping your partner become healthier as well. Um, And there are studies that do show that happily married men live longer than single men or men who are in unhappy marriages. And so, like, well, you see what a good wife does for you, but it's not just that. The fact is that in a healthy, happy relationship, um, partners care for each other. So, whereas statistics, and I'm not calling out stereotypes, I'm talking about
Mhm.
statistics do show that men are less likely to visit doctors, men are less likely to monitor what they eat, men are less likely to take preventative care of themselves.
Mhm.
But sometimes having that lovingly nagging wife comes in handy with the doctor's appointments, with watching the nutrition. And so that actually is what contributes to their living longer.
Yeah, I've seen those studies, and, I think it's so true. Like, if a lot of women make their husbands' appointments for them, and so
Yes,
they have no choice, you have to go. Yeah.
exactly.
Show up at the doctor at this time, this day. And then
Mhm.
also, we have a lot of control. Well, you say your husband cooks a lot of the
Mhm.
dinners, but, we're a lot of the times the ones that are buying the food and cooking the food. And, even if you don't know what they're eating all day, if you can have a healthy dinner prepared for them every night,
Mhm.
that'll
Mhm.
make some kinda impact on
It
both
will.
your health, you and his and your kids and everything. And so, if you could just
Exactly.
do that, well, he's an adult and, whatever
Yes.
he eats outside the home, you don't have control over that, but you do have control inside the home, and if you're the one cooking and buying the food and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
I think it makes a difference,
It
but, yeah, I've seen those studies before, they're interesting.
they are. There's
Now,
no
have you seen studies about, like, if the woman lives longer or not? If she's like, married women? I don't know about that one.
hmm. I'm you are jogging my memory a little bit. Yeah, that'll be an interesting one to go check
We
off
need
a
to
list.
Google that one and
We
see
need to check that
see
one,
if
yes.
it works the other way around.
I mean, it probably does in the sense that, again, when you're in a better mental state, it has a knock-on effect on everything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, definitely. I totally agree. So what are do you have a few tips that you can give for like having a healthy marriage or like creating a healthy marriage?
Mhm. I have a few. So there are 5 things that I do talk a lot about. And I'll just list them and we'll talk about a couple of them in more detail. So, for example, um, paying compliments or paying compliments, saying thank you, uh, going to bed regularly at the same time, um, not talking about your relationship with others, and dating, you know?
Yeah.
So each other, by the way, not
Yes. Right.
let's just clarify that part. um, so one of the things that I do like to talk about is that being kind and paying compliments. And I know it sounds, I mean, we talked about compliments just now as well, but it's so powerful and it's so simple, and we underestimate the value of it. Because when you compliment somebody, you know, you're in a really positive state. You're thinking something positive about them, and then you're sharing it with them, and you're helping them feel good about themselves, which is also why it's important for you to receive the compliments.
Mm.
So, and again, studies around that show for in successful, vibrant relationships, for every one negative interaction, the couple has at least 5 positive interactions. And now these compliments fall into that as well. And I think it was Joyce Myers I was listening to some time ago, and she was the whatever
Love
podcast.
her.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it was her. Her voice is quite distinctive, and this idea that you should compliment. She said marriages can be saved if you would compliment your spouse 5 times a day. I'm like, Joyce, I
Wow.
don't got time for that.
Oh my goodness.
But I mean, but let's think about it. Think if 5 times a day you are thinking something good about your partner and letting them know it.
Gosh, yeah.
Think about the power of that. And okay,
That
I know
changes your mindset about
it
them.
does. It really, really does. It really does.
Mm,
Now,
I
okay,
love that.
yeah, I'm
And
I'm
you can think
probably
of 5 things a day. It can be the same things, right? Like
it
some of the same things.
might have to be some of the same things. Well, there is one tip for that as well. Make a list. Don't feel bad. Spend 5 minutes, sit down and jot down things that you like, admire, respect, or enjoy about your partner, and you pull your compliments from that list. Um, if you're in a space where you're not really feeling very generous towards your partner, ask your children,
Oh,
especially
good
the
idea.
younger ones. Yes, maybe the teenagers won't be as generous with their praise, but the younger ones tend to be. So ask them, what do you like about your mom? What do you like about your dad? And you write it down. And that's where you pull your compliments from. And if you can't
Mhm.
tell them in person because, people work and have activities,
Yeah.
um, send them a text message, leave a
Yeah.
note for them to
That's
find.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Awesome. I do that with my husband. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and I have a list of fun and flirty text messages you can send to your partner.
Oh,
Yes. Some are really sweet and some are a little bit spicy, but you pick and choose which ones you want.
wow. So is that in your group, or is
Yes.
it like a freebie kind of thing that you give out? Okay. Well, you guys need to join her group so you can get that.
And well,
We'll
if you
put all that in the
for
comments.
it.
But yeah, I love those ideas. Ask your kids,
Mhm.
send text messages, because sometimes that's what I do a lot of times when I'm like, "Oh, thank you. I'm so grateful that you helped me with this the other day." And I don't always think about it when he's home. Um, so when I'm thinking about it, I may send him a text
Yeah,
about, I really appreciate you helping me with this the other night, or the
that's
other day.
exactly.
And I think about it while it's on my mind.
Mhm.
So I love that idea. Those are great tips.
Yeah. And it's the positivity loop. So that's why, saying the thank you is also related to that because we have this impression that, well, they know I appreciate them. But, it can't hurt to hear it or
Mhm,
to see it expressed because I always say too, even if saying the words thank you don't have to express your thanks by saying thank you. There are things, a hug, a smile, a kiss, like just like squeezing their arm or something,
mhm,
a moan of appreciation when you're eating something that they've made. Those are ways of showing your appreciation, but you're just making sure your partner understands that you see what they've done and you appreciate it and you're saying thank you and you're being kind and you're creating the positivity loop. And from a purely selfish standpoint, behavior that gets rewarded gets repeated. So if you're constantly rewarding the things that you really like, chances are you're going to get that behavior repeated towards you over and over again. So
yes. Yeah, I love it. These are great. These are great tips. So, um, so what is the number one thing you think would have the greatest impact on someone's health and marriage? Like what would impact both of those areas the most, do you think?
um so in terms of health and marriage at the same time, you know, it is it definitely is being in that positive mind space, that healthy, that I don't want to say healthy, that positive mental space.
Mm,
Because or how can I wanting to achieve it. So for example, I talk a lot about actions being more important than words.
mm,
So things may not be going the best at the moment in your health or in your relationship. And you're kind of saying, well, when I feel better, I'll do something. But what if you never feel better? How long are you going to wait to do it? So it's kind of like
mhm,
that intentionality. I want to be in a happy, strong relationship. I want to have a healthy relationship with food, a healthier body. So when you have that intention, that mental intention of achieving something positive, then
mhm.
you act towards it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, and one example I can give you, like for an intentional action that helps both, relationship and health. We talked about sleep a little bit earlier.
Mhm.
that going to bed at the same time regularly really comes in handy there, because when you do that, when you set like that bedtime, um I mean, the impact of good sleep on your health is absolutely, paramount. So when you make that commitment to your health together, great. But not just that, the going to bed together is that idea of kind of like getting into that vulnerable state. When you're when you're together alone in your room, a lot of the masks that you have up around people outside, even around your children, you drop them, because this is the person that you can be most yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
It's like creating that space for that time to be vulnerable together. And of course, yes, increased chance of intimacy, because sex is a part of a marriage. So you're also increasing the chances of being intimate. So again, it has when you make the commitment to going to bed. And I know it's not always easy to go to bed at the same time. We have crazy schedules, we have children, but you
Mm-hmm.
try at least 3-4 times a week to be going to bed at the same time.
Yeah.
That really helps.
Yeah. Yeah. And making sure you guys get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Like that is going to do so much for not only like balancing your hormones and helping you get the health that you want, but
Mhm.
also like we talked about earlier, your mental state. I was sleep deprived for so many years. I didn't realize 5 to 6 hours of sleep is not enough. And when I started to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep and prioritize sleep over waking up early to get a workout in, because as moms, a lot of times we have to make those decisions like what
Mhm.
is better for my health, to get an extra hour of sleep or to get that workout in. And I
Oh.
had to make that choice. Like I had to figure that out. And I noticed when I was only getting 5 to 6 hours of sleep, I would need a nap every day, and if I didn't get a nap every day, I was super grumpy, super like, um, I just could not function. I was so tired. I was trying to drink a bunch of coffee to like, you know,
Yes,
make
yes.
up for it. And then when I started getting my 7 to 8 hours of sleep, I can't even tell you the last time I had a nap. Probably
Right.
when I was sick, and I don't even know the last time that was.
Right, yeah. Oh my
So
gosh, thank you so much. No, that is good to know, because I had been in that space of like, okay, well, I'll just
I
sleep a
went
little
through it,
less to
yeah.
get up.
I went through it,
Guys, yeah.
and I've been prioritizing sleep, and I cannot tell you how much better I feel and how much more
Mhm.
energy I have. And I was like, I used to be this person that would wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to work out before my kids
Mhm.
woke up,
Mhm.
but it was setting my day up for, I'm just tired all day. I can't think. I don't have good mental clarity. I'm sluggish. I don't have the energy to do what I need to do. And when I added that extra hour, I was like, I love working out so much, and that is a priority to me that I do find a way to get it in.
Yeah.
I schedule it in the afternoon after I've worked for, a while, and then I get my workout in, or I get it in at night,
Yeah. Yeah.
after dinner or something. And that has just done wonders, like reworking my schedule so I can get the
Right.
sleep that I need. I feel
Yeah.
so much better. So much
Okay.
better.
I'm not going to feel guilty about putting the extra sleep back in. So I think I may be adjusting my alarm clock.
Yeah. Oh man, it did wonders for me. And yeah. So but I know that as women, it's so hard to fit everything in. And so
Mhm.
I think you just have to get clear on like what you really want and figure out, what is going to make the biggest difference. And from all the studies that I read and all the books that I read and listen to and all that,
Mhm.
I realized, that sleep is more important than, that is a priority. Sleep
Yeah.
is a priority over getting in a workout.
Yep.
So, I just find other ways to get it in, and it's been great. But anyways, so, yeah, I love your tips, Kim. I really appreciate you coming on. This has been great. And you guys, I will answer your comments. I know we haven't really had time to read a lot of them, but I really appreciate you guys commenting and joining us. This has been really good. But Kim, what do you have going on? Like, tell us about your group. Tell us
Okay.
about, what do you have to offer? Do you have any things going on right now that you want to tell us about?
Sure. So, yes, the group is called Moms, Marriage, and Relationships Bringing the Love Back. It is not exclusive to moms only, but we do talk a lot about relationships in there and, different things you can try to kind of build that quality time, build that connection up with your partner. Um, and I have been working on a workshop recently, and I'm doing the first iteration of it next week in another group. So it's actually not even in my group, it's starting off. It's starting in another group, and it's for moms who have their own businesses and who are struggling with getting their partners to support them. So
Mm,
the workshop is actually called 3 Tips for Getting Your Partner to Support You and Your Business.
oh, that's
So
great.
that's one that's coming up, and I'm delivering it for the first time next week. And
Okay.
so what I'll do, I'll probably share I'll share some tips in your in the comments as well, and the links to the group and to my Facebook page as well.
That sounds great. Yeah, we'll put all the links to everything that she's talked about and I just appreciate you, Kim. This was really fun. We need to do
You're
this
welcome.
again because
Thank you.
I think there's so much more we could talk about.
Absolutely. And we started this conversation last week, but it's like I think we can just keep going.
Yeah, yeah, I know. This has been great. So I really appreciate you guys joining in and listening to Kim. She's had some great advice for us. And if you guys have any questions for her, leave them in the comments and we'll do our best to answer them as best as we can. And you guys have a great day. All right. See you next Tuesday. Bye, Kim.
Bye.